Shalom, shalom, Yashua Allah. I want to start off first things first, giving all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakadash, which in the Petty who be tongues, created as the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And shalom to you, sister, brothers, living is true. And shalom to brothers and sisters that's listening and studying, show themselves approved. Shalom. Yeah, we about to do a quick little edification, Yashua Allah, on the Sabbaths. And what sparked this is that I'm at work, and it's a Jake in my job, a co-worker. He knows he's a Jake, but he like a T-shirt and friends Jake. And I remember we got to talking about the Sabbaths, and he's a T-shirt and friends Jake. So we got different doctrines. He watch a lot of different camps, and he doesn't watch the Apostle of the Great Millstone. So we got to talk about the Sabbaths, and how he say it, just like IUIC said. He said the Sabbath is Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. And I'm like, no, the Sabbaths are dictated by the new moon. And so we had that disagreement because he's on the thinking that, and I can see why a lot of new people believe that. That's why I be like, this is a good time to do a lesson, because you see the apostle elders go out every Saturday. And Saturday sounds a lot like Sabbath, which I think they pulled the word from Saturn, and then they pulled it to the Sabbath. So that's why a lot of Jakes will get that, that misperception right there. So coming through the power, the spirit and power, Yahweh Shah to clear that up, to show why the new moons are the Sabbaths. And I'm going to show that through the scriptures. And Lord willing, you be edified. As I know we got a lot of new brothers and sisters coming into this truth. And they'll think, because you got, like I said, IUIC, the Sabbath is Friday sundown to Saturday sundown every single week. And see, when you think about that, that's basing your Sabbaths after the Greco-Roman calendar, which has nothing to do with us. The whole Roman calendar, Esau's calendar, Julian calendar, all of that is off. The whole, how he do days on the ordinances is off. We don't do it based on Esau's calendar. We do it based on the moon cycles. That's why the moon was created, so that us as Israelites can look up in the sky, see the moon in its phases, and then know when the Sabbaths come in, so we get back on track. Because see, Esau can manipulate a calendar. He can manipulate the days, which he did do that. He did do that. But see, one thing he can't manipulate or change is that moon cycle, the Lord's ordinances. He doesn't govern that. So the Lord made, he told our forefathers, Moses, that's we were based on the moon cycle. And I'm gonna show that through the scriptures, and you'll see that it's not that, that low level thinking that it's Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. I used to think that too when I first came in, and I had, get into the scriptures and get the deeper understanding, especially when I found the brothers from Great Millstone to really, and then it made all the sense in the world, man. I mean, my Ak Kadar Sahan was just talking about that. But you still got Jakes that's supposed to be in the truth for years and years and years, and they're still stuck at beginner stage. And that's why, because they're stuck in that T-shirt and friends groups. Those men don't have the mystery of the kingdom of heaven, and they don't have the spirit of prophecy. That's why they don't know what the MOTB is. So with no further ado, let's first understand where the days of the week originated from. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Let's get that. On how that came about. And they named them after, Roman gods. So let's read this real quick. You can find this all on Google. Information is there. We're in the revised Roman Empire. So that's why the days of the week, and we roll with the Gregorian calendar, So to check it out, this is the Roman gods become Nordic weekday names. The Romans named the days of the week after the sun and the moon and 5 planets. So they started out, which were also the name of their gods. The gods and planets were Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn. And I bet you Saturn going to Saturday. So in the Nordic countries, the sun, Sunday, and the moon, Monday, also became the first 2 days of the week. And the Roman gods became 4 of the Nordic gods with similarities. So Mars became Tyr, which is Tuesday. Mercury became Odin. And, Mercury became Odin in Wednesday. Jupiter became Thor to Thursday, because Mercury used to be Wednesday, then it went to Odin, then it went to Wednesday, and then Jupiter became Thor, then it went to Thursday. And Venus became Frigg, which turned into Friday. I was wondering how the heck they got the Friday. Now we're starting to see how they got their days. And Saturday came outside the system. The Norse form Saturday means hot water day, which would be translated as washing day or washing water day. And Sunday, with their Sol is a goddess in Norse mythology. Sol means sun. So I seen that in the movie too, Raised by Wolves. Now I see where he got the name Sol from and why he made him like a sun. Esau be on that sun worship. Over time, the day of the sun became Sunday in the runic alphabet. The rune S name is sun. So that's the origins of these weekdays. Plus, when you go to like January, I think that's like the Roman god Janus, and in February, and then in March like Mars, and you get it's all tailored after the Greco-Romans, man, pretty much. So for you to base your Sabbaths off of their days of the week would be very foolish, when the scriptures tell us that that's not so, man. He gave us to dictate, by the moon. So let's get into the scriptures, man, to really get to the point. And I'm gonna show you that. So let's start off with Jeremiah, where the Lord talks about why he made, the sun and the moon and the stars. Let's go to Jeremiah 31 and 35. And it reads, "There said the Lord, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divided the sea when the waves thereof roar, and the Lord of hosts is his name." See, talk about Yahushua. So the sun was made light by day, so you can tell the time of the day by the sun. And then the ordinance of the moon or the stars, you can tell the time of the month by the moon. That's why it goes through different phases. You get the new moon, which shows no moon. Then you get the quarter moon. Then you get to a phase of a full moon, which is 14 days after a new moon. Then you get to the other half quarter of the moon, and then it repeats back in the cycle. Which where I got that too. The little moon cycle. Right here. That's why really it's 28 days in a month. But you look at Esau, he got 30 and 31. That's it'll throw you all off. He got leap years. He got all kind of crazy little madness, man. I show you Esau's just utter madness. And for you to base your, feast days and high holy days off of that is madness as well. That's why you need to go off the moon cycle. That's what the moon was created for. And I'm about to show that too. Let's read. Let's go to something else too before I get to that. Another thing too I want to show. Letter of Jeremiah 1 and 60. And it says, "For the sun, moon, and stars, being bright and sent to do their offices, are obedient. In like manner, the lightning which is breaking forth is easy to be seen, and after the same manner, the wind bloweth in every country. And when Yahweh commanded the clouds to go over the whole world, they do as they are bidden." So the Lord made his ordinance, and they obey him. That's why they move in their cycles, and they do it for a reason. And like I say, as we get through the scriptures, you're gonna see why. Now let's go to Sirach, because it's gonna tell you why he made the moon. Or Ecclesiasticus 43 and 6. Check it out. This is Ecclesiasticus 43 and 6. "He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. From the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. The month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven." Did you peep that? So the Lord said that the moon was made for a sign of times. What times? Our feast days and our Sabbaths. That's what the moon dictates right there. That's why it was made. I don't see how these T-shirt and fringe Israelites can't understand that when it's right here in the scriptures, man. It tell you that. It ain't no, Moses didn't go grab a bunch of calendars at Quick Trip And like, okay, let me put it on this and it's on this day. No, they ain't have the calendars like that, man. They counted the time of the month and where we at based on the moon cycle. They looked up in the sky. They can tell you can tell the time of the day by the sun, man. When the sun going down, about to set, it's about to be night. When it's up in the air coming from the east, it's rising. And the same thing with the moon. You tell it it's full, or you tell there's no moon in the sky, new moon, then hey, you on the Sabbath. So I don't see why that's real hard to understand, man. And the month is called after her name. A new moon means new month. Because he said the month is called after her name. That's why the moon is called the moon. Because the new moon means new month. And that should be real easy to understand, straight up. And see, they'll see certain scriptures, which let me go get to this too. Let's go to Psalms 81 and 3. And this is Psalms 81 and 3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. So that goes to the scripture we just read earlier. The new moon governs our feast days. And he said, blow the trumpet for the new moon. New moon is important. Why? Because that signifies the first Sabbath of the month. And then how you do it, you count 7 days from that. And then that's that Sabbath on that day. And the Sabbaths go sundown to sundown, not that morning to that night. How, we've been brought up and raised, how we've been taught. And how I'm going to go to Deuteronomy to prove that. Let's go to Deuteronomy 16 and 6. But at the place which the Lord thy Yahweh shall choose to place his name in, for all them cuts out, your name don't matter, we ain't got the name. There thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at evening, sundown, at the going down of the sun, at the season that thou hast camest forth out of Egypt. So the Sabbath is celebrated from sundown to sundown, and it switches. Some weeks, some months, it might be on Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. You might get that. And then it'll switch over. The next month's move of the cycle, and it'll be from Saturday sundown to Sunday sundown. And then the next month, another new moon, it'll be from, Sunday sundown to Monday sundown. And it moves like that. Because it's governed, everything we do is governed off of the new moon. That's something that Esau can't dictate. He can't change that. So we can look up in the sky, see the moon, and get right back on track with our Sabbaths. That's how you can't tell me an intelligent power didn't create us and make us. Esau can't tell me that. Can't no 2/3 tell me that. Because I'm like, how did Moses know that, man? And it lines up perfectly, man. We did our Passover ceremony, we do our things, man. It's on point, man. It's a full moon outside. So let me go get this too. So what else I got? Let me go get this. Let me go to Isaiah 66 and 23. And it says, and it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, which shows the new moon and the Sabbath synonymous, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord. See, a lot of Jakes will read the scriptures and see what they talk about Sabbaths and new moons and think it's separate. They don't read this Isaiah 66 and 23 and see that it's one and the same. And see that Isaiah 66, 23 goes perfect with Ecclesiasticus 43 and 6. That's why the moon was created. To govern us, to get us back on our Sabbaths, man. If we want to, if we had the ability to keep the Sabbaths, really honored like we should, but we got jobs, it don't always fall on the same days a week. So it's really hard to keep the Sabbath, man. That's why usually we just pick a day out the week to keep the Sabbath, because it's really hard to. But in the kingdom, we're going to be back one with the moon. We're going to be back running, in harmony with the world again. That's what's going to be so beautiful about the kingdom of heaven. We're going to be back in our unison with, nature and the moon cycle, and everything going to be back on track. And see, these Jakes, they can't get an understanding of that. And to me, that should be easy. That's why the moon moves in those phases. And then like a big proof to prove that. Like, let's go look at that thing again right here. Because the new moon this month is on the 21st, right? So when you go on the 21st, because that's a new moon calendar, the 21st is a Tuesday. So the Sabbath, this week, we're done past now, but coming up this week is going to be the 28th sundown to Wednesday sundown. That's how it's going to run, until you get to another new moon. So that's not Friday to Saturday. It's not going to, the moon don't care about Esau's days of the week. The moon don't work like that. The moon is on the ordinance, the commandment of Yahweh Shah. And Esau can't change that. That's why that devil, Bill Gates want to blow the moon up, because they trying to disrupt the ordinance of Yahweh Shah. And see, they mad that we getting back on track and getting one with our power. We getting back in ordinance with our power. We now we know what the moon function serve. Now we know what what real days the Sabbaths fall on. And see that the devil don't like that. Because it's a power greater than him that he doesn't want Jakes to know about, Israelites, Yahshua to know about. So I'm gonna leave off for right here, a perfect example of how Moses did this and how you can tell we dealing with a higher power. Let's go to Exodus. Let's go to Exodus 12 and 6. I'm gonna start at 1 because it said, check this out. Check this out, Yahshua. Watch how big this is. This is Exodus 12. I'm gonna start at 1. And I'm gonna go down to 6 because it's gonna make a point. So check it out. This is Exodus 12 and 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months, the new moon, and it shall be the first month of the year to you. So that's really the new year right there, the Passover. And speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of the month, they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, and the lamb for an house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls, every man according to his eating, and shall make your account for the lamb. Getting ready for Passover. So Exodus 12 and 5, your lamb should be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats. And 6, and ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening of the 14th day. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the 2 side posts and on the upper door posts and of the house wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. So that's the Passover right there. Now what's big about that is that he said the first of the month, the new moon. Now check this out, Yahshua. 14 days of the new moon, guess what you get? You get a full moon. So that's why the Lord had Moses celebrate the Passover, eat it and do the Passover the 14th day after that new moon, because guess what? That way Yahshua will have enough light outside to do their ceremony, to eat the lamb and have enough light. Because 14 days of the new moon, you get a full moon. So that right there let me know that Moses was dealing with a higher power, because how the heck would he know that? He didn't have no astrology observation point to look up in the sky, and know all of that type of stuff, or go to Quick Trip and get a calendar, or go to Google. He didn't have that, man. Yahweh was dealing with him directly. Yahweh was dealing with him directly. When he made him do that, that was on point. Because now I see that every 14 days of new moon, you get a full moon. And then like the apostle elders, whoever got us on track on how we do our, our holy days, we did the Passover, man, that was on point. It was on point. So I'm like, man, that increased my faith in this truth. And it really just, man, it should give you just put gas to your engine, man. Really just build your confidence, Yahweh. Like here we are getting back on track with our forefathers, using the moon cycle. Now I know why the moon goes through different phases, and that's for us to know what the true Sabbath is falling on. It's not no Friday sundown to Saturday sundown every single week, man. We're not going off no Gregorian Julian calendar. That's foolishness to think that. All you gotta do is just think a little bit. That's what I don't them t-shirt friends groups is low level, man. Very low level. And the scriptures, man, when you got wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You read about it and then you see it. You know, you look at the moon do its phases, and then it hits you like, that's why. And then it really hits you too. You like, okay, yeah, Esau, you can't control the moon in its phases. So I can get right in line and harmony with my power, and you can't do nothing about that. You know, only thing you do, like, we still, in their hands, we still gotta work. So don't feel bad about that. You gotta work on the Sabbath for, whatever, however, it falls on, because we in captivity. That's why we give all praise to Yahweh. He gonna cover them sins for us. But if you wanted to, say, if you don't have to work, you're financially free, and you wanted to get, on the path with the Sabbath, hey, track them new moons, man. And then every 7 days of your new moon, there goes your Sabbath until the other new moon comes into play. Then you right on track with the Sabbath. It's not dictated by a calendar, the days of the week. It's not dictated by that. The Sabbaths are dictated by the new moon and the moon cycle. That what dictates how holy days, and that's like tell the time of the month. Based off the moon. The sun is for to tell the time of the day. The moon is to tell the time of the month. Because then you'll look, see when you get it. Yeah, you can look at the phases. If you see the moon on the left side, or you see the moon on the right side, you see what what quarter is in. Is it gaining or is it losing? So you'll know if you're top of the month or at the end of the month. That's amazing to me, y'all, Shrala. Like, and then you in the middle of the month when you got a full moon. It's a 7-day cycle, man. Every 14 days. It's gonna go from full to you can't see it no more. And then you get your little, your halves, your quarters. So that right there is just amazing to me, man. And that I'm awed at that. And then I'm looking at the genius of Yahweh Shah here. He's able to stick it to that devil. Like, yeah, you're going to get my people off with your calendar, but they're going to come back into the knowledge through these scriptures. That's why this word is so, man, it's so magnificent. Because with this word, it's like, man, like I did that lesson, man. This word is like a map to get back to your identity, to get back on, all wisdom, not to understand what's going on in the world. You understand why Yahweh Shah made certain things. For instance, like we just learned about why he made the sun, moon, and the stars. We just learned something about that. And it's just, man, it's wonderful, man. And that right there give you fuel to continue in this faith. So, yeah, all right, dealing with that Jake, I was like, this is a good time. We got new people flocking into the truth. It's a good time to, edify brothers and sisters on the Sabbaths, man. And what they really dictated by. Because you heard T-shirt and Friends group say it's Friday sundown and Saturday sundown, and really that's off. That's beginner stage. People who just learning they're Israelite, that's what that is. But when you come into this thing and you really then ate the whole roll in the scriptures and you really got the full understanding, then you understand, no, the Sabbath is dictated off the moon cycle. That's how you really get on, if you want to get in tune with your Sabbath, But, we in captivity, so we can't really honor the Sabbath like we really want to all the time. Like, you might have to work. Overtime might pop up. You might do something at the house. So, because you're supposed to rest on the Sabbath and not do no work. But, like I said, we in captivity. So, a lot of times we can't really honor the Sabbath like we want to. So what I do, I just pick a day out the week. If I got an off day, and I'll just pick that day to not do nothing. That'd be my chill day, my rest day. That's how I do it. Because, hey, man, thank the Lord for Yahweh Shah, man. He going to cover up those sins that, because we can't keep the law perfect. Nobody keeping the law perfect. That's another thing, too. If somebody tell me they keeping the law perfect, run away from that person. They lying. Because I can find some in the law that they breaking. Every Israelite. That's it. When Yahweh Shah come back, every Israelite going to have sin on them. Point blank, period, man. But like when you understand you ate the whole road, you understand that Yahweh Shah is going to cover those sins that, the laws, because sin is the transgression of the law. And we can't keep the law perfect. That's why Yahweh Shah had to sacrifice himself so that the hopeful elect can get those sins covered and still get into the kingdom of heaven with Yahweh. He's the savior, man. He's the redeemer, man. That's why, Hey, man, big ups to Yahweh, man. You can't give enough praises to Yahweh because we wouldn't make it without him. We wouldn't make it. We all be done, man. According to the law, Yahweh is justified to put us all to death, man. But Yahweh, that's why really you should push faith over the law. And I ain't telling you to break the law. Keep the law as best you can. But I'm saying don't feel bad if there's certain laws that you can't keep and you break it. Because this thing is really about faith. Faith in Yahweh. And he will cover those, those sins that, man, that we done committed. So don't willingly break the law. Try your best to keep it. Because walking the law's commandments is showing love to Yahweh. And, always give praises and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and Yahweh Shai for covering those sins. Because we can't, I wish I could get into the moon cycle and keep my Sabbath based on the moon pattern. I wish I could. And I will be able to. Lord willing, all of us will be able to when we make it in the kingdom. Then we'll be able to do that. We're going to do that. And we're going to make everybody else in the world do it too. Because we're going to run the world. And it's going to be based on the moon cycle, the new moons. So with that, man, I hope this has been edifying. I want to say Kwam Yashua, detailed by Bob. Shalom.